Hi, my name is Ann Carollo, and I am the owner of Gulf Coast Dance Center. Today, I'm going to break down a rond de jambe. So what is a rond de jambe? It means we're actually taking one leg, the working leg, and here's the supporting leg, and we're moving the working leg around our supporting leg. The purpose of this is to start to warm up the hip joint and all the glutes and all the different muscles that come into that section of our body as we start on the ground. And then eventually it's something that can move higher, so we can have grand rond de jambe or even rond de jambe on the air. But today we're just gonna do rond de jambe à terre, which means on the ground. So we're gonna start in first position. And just like learning our tendu from first, that is actually what we are going to pass through. So we're going to pull the right foot so the heel starts to cross as we're exiting the first and lengthening out to a tendu. Because we are passing and working through the first position, our toe needs to land in front of the supporting heel. From here, we're gonna draw out to second position, and for now, we're gonna pull straight in. We're gonna do that again. We're gonna cross over, we're gonna lengthen out, and we're gonna open until we find second position and pull in. To complete this semicircle, we're gonna go back out to second, draw behind ourselves. So now my toe is disappearing behind my supporting heel, and I'm gonna pull the heels towards each other to come back into first position. Again, gliding out through my second position, pulling to the back behind the heel, and pulling in. So that is the broken down pieces of all the positions of your body to get into this rond de jambe. Now we're gonna do it in reverse. We're gonna pull the heel behind, we lengthen out, we pull the heel around in the toes and slide in, and we cross behind, and we lengthen out, and I'm gonna point out one specific thing right here. As I bring my leg around, I want you to see how I have the sticker on my heel. I have to bring the heel around. So coming from the back to second is so much harder, and close to first. Then I'm going to glide out to second and pull that heel even more, and pull the heels together and close, and we have second, and around, pull together and close. Now that in itself can become a combination, so if you want to practice that with music, you totally can. But I'm going to go ahead and move on. So those are the broken pieces. So now we're going to connect the full semicircle. So starting in the first position, we're going to slide out to tendu in front of the heel, pulling our leg to second position, taking it behind, and gliding it into the first position, okay? So I'm gonna go from here, and I'm gonna go back a little bit into what we just did and to the reason why. So now that we're connecting the pieces, I wanna make sure you don't lose that first section where the upper thighs crossed to get out, okay? What can start to happen when we're not thinking about where we have to go is we'll just start taking our leg. So I want us to pull across our inner thighs, lengthen, carry to the second position, carry to the back, pulling through with the heels coming towards each other, and then replacing in first. So in the reverse, we have heel and feel the cross of the heels landing behind. Now pull that heel around, so rotating this leg forward, and then continue rotating it forward and pull the heels towards each other. And we'll do that one more time. We feel the cross, nice and tall, square shoulders, pull the heel around, and then pull it to the front, and we pull together. So that is an actual rond de jambe. So part of the rond de jambe is the direction we're going. So if you notice, we went front, and we went in reverse back. But those are actually, there are terms used. So en dehors, meaning outward. We're gonna go out of our body, is en dehors. And en dedans is to come inward. So it's coming into our center, into us, in the front of us. So again, that's en dehors, outward, en dedans, inward. Okay, let's take it to the third and final step, which makes it a little bit more complete. We're gonna move into the fifth position. So when you first learn a rond de jambe, you wanna learn it from first. Why? First is our passing position. So kind of think of like it's your safe place, it's your home base. So that's where we pass, that's where we come from and end a lot of our rond de jambes. But as you rise through the levels, you will start to transition into the fifth. So the best way that I explain this is think of your fifth position kind of like a sentence. So we're gonna start our sentence with a capital letter. So say the, okay? And so you have that capital T, that's our fifth. As we go into a rond de jambe, we're gonna keep going and we go pass through first position. Now I want you to think of that like a comma of a run-on sentence because we're gonna connect another one. And we're gonna go second, and we're gonna go back, and we're gonna connect through. There's another comma. And now let's just say we're coming to the end of our sentence and we have a punctuation. That is the punctuation, is the fifth position at the end. So fifth is in the beginning and the end of a direction. By landing in the fifth, we are now set up and ready to reverse into that en dedans. So if we were to go back and second and front, pass through the first, and cross, and second, and front, again through the first, last time, and 2, and 3, pull the feet together, and that is the completion of that combination. To give you a little something to work on at home, if we were to combine this all together for yourself to work on a combination or practicing, I love to take my students through from fifth position 2 rond de jambes that are 4 counts apiece. So if we have 1, carry 2, and I like that we stop in each position so we tell our body what it feels like in each position. 3, in 4, out 5, and 6, and 7, close 8. Leveling it up. Now we're gonna connect the dots faster. 1, now we glide all the way through 2, and now we're at a complete real full rond de jambe. Pass through 3 and 4, pass through 5 and 6, pull it together, 7, hold 8. I like this time to remind us where we are in our legs, and we reverse en dedans. So we have 1, I have the time in the music for 4 counts, 2, so I tell my body again, 3, what each position feels like, 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, first 8. Now here comes the connected ones. 1, all the way around 2, pass through 3, all the way around 4, pass through 5, all the way around 6, pull together 7 and 8. And that's a full combination. That's something that I would give in my intro class, but it's super great for no matter what level, beginner or pro, to work on all of the broken pieces. Okay, so we've talked about the broken pieces, how to do it. What are all the things that can go wrong? Okay, so I gave you some clues into that with talking about my heels and my stickers. One of the things that can happen is when we come from the back, we don't bring our turnout. So I'm coming around with the top of my foot. So what we have to do, how this warms up the hip, is not only are we rotating out, but we're internally rotating the turnout as well. So from here, if you think about the inseam of my leggings and my heel from the tendu back, I'm going to pull and rotate my leg around to get back to second position. And then I'm gonna keep rotating that leg to get to the front and pulling back. Same thing can be said here. So that's the hard part from the back and really rotating. From the front, this is pretty easy, front to second. That usually doesn't go wrong. What happens is when we go to the back that we lose and roll the whole leg in. So now I'm on the top of my foot, my knee is to the floor, and now I can't come into first position because I've lost my turnout. So from here to here, instead of thinking of the sticker, you can think of your knee. So I'm gonna keep my knee facing the direction it is, and then my toes are gonna match that direction as I pull in. So that is how I'm gonna maintain my turnout throughout, because that's one thing that tends to go as soon as we start moving a little faster. But it's the most important because that is the moving of the hip joint to warm everything up. Okay, second thing that can go wrong, overcrossing or undercrossing. So I started you off really thinking about that tendu landing in front of that heel. Sometimes when we speed up, dancers will start way overshooting the rond de jambe, and then they get a lot of wiggle going on, okay? Or another one is they might be cross front, but here's another very popular one, not getting all the way back. So it comes really short, okay? So again, to get the proper placement, we have to think that we're passing through first. So our tendu from first is front of the heel. behind the heel. How I feel that? I feel it in my upper legs. I can at this point, I guess, feel where my feet are in my body, but when you're a beginner, you're not gonna know that. So it's starting to try to feel what the top of your thighs feel like when you're in a tendu, and able to pull in, and again, feel the top of my legs, feel again the top of my legs connecting and passing in, so I don't over or under cross. Okay, third and another major one, the wiggle. The hips are so hard. So when we have a ronde jambe, we have to stay so zipped up and lifted. So if you watched any of my other videos, we talked a lot about this like pull-up placement, being in our neutral spine and very lengthened through the front of our hip. So what happens is, say we go front, a lot of times this is good, but then we go kerplunk, and we just came off that hip joint. So now we have to pull everything up to get through our legs. So then if we speed it up, we're going kerplunk, and we're doing a lot of wiggling. Okay, we don't want that. We have to stay lifted. So it's gonna be here, here. It rotates a little. So I have to concentrate and think pull up, pull up, pull up, and replace it back to my placement. Second, my hips twist a little and come through. Same thing in reverse. So then from here, and I'll explain a little bit more about why I'm saying hips twisted. From here, now I have to pull, 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 pull up to get back. And then it's pretty easy to maintain. Okay, so hips twisting. So our pelvis is a very large bone. When our leg goes in front, the femur bone, the thigh bone, doesn't get in the way of the hips, okay? When we open to second, again, there is nothing that's really inhibiting where that leg can go. When we go to the back though, bone starts to get in the way. So that is why we work in a turnout, and my hips are gonna ever so slightly twist, but my square is going to stay a shoulder, and a hip. So if I face you, and I have my fingers on my hips, here, this hip bone is gonna stay with this shoulder. This shoulder is also gonna stay. So there is a triangle, but it's my square. This hip bone's ever so slightly further back, but as I pass through, they're gonna come and join back into the same linear position to then stay, okay? So this is probably one of the most challenging parts I feel about ballet that I've personally had to like put some effort, some thought into. So again, it's just really understanding how to keep readjusting to get yourself back to neutral. To help you understand what I was talking about in the combination of how our pelvis can get in the way, I did this a couple months ago and it really, really helped my students. So think of the tissue box as your pelvis, and think about the two water bottles as your femur bones. So when we take a leg devant or front, the leg can move freely away from the pelvis and it doesn't get in the way. When it goes to second, again, really nothing gets in the way. Now, because our legs sit at the front of our pelvis, like it is here, when we take the leg back, it shifts the pelvis. This one stays. That's why I was saying they have the 3 points that make you square, but this one shifts. So now when I bring my leg to second, I have to pull everything back to that second position, so then I can continue front. So I hope this is just something that I think visually helps to make sense of why the pelvis gets in the way. I hope today that you learned something from the ronde jambe. I know that it can feel a little overwhelming as there's so many moving parts, but by breaking it down from the first through the fifth, that I've been able to make something make sense for you, or that you've been able to take something away that you can carry into class. If you liked this video, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you'd like to see more, go ahead and hit the subscribe, as I'm on my journey hoping to teach you guys as much as I can about ballet. If you have any comments or questions, go ahead and leave it in the comment section. And you can even hit that little bell if you want to be notified of our next video. And remember, trust the process and enjoy your journey.